First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
Virginia State Police are now involved in the investigation into a Chesapeake police officer's death Tuesday morning.
The Chesapeake police chief asked for that help. It could determine how veteran officer Timothy Schock died during dive training. Friends describe him as an athletic, loving man who will be greatly missed. 10 on your side's Katie Collette is here now. And Katie, this tragedy has affected many.
That's right, Tom, and I spoke with a good friend of Schock's today who says word of the officer and retired Marine's death spread so quickly, he's been inundated with calls from all over the country. People who knew Schock wanting to know how they could help his family and fellow officers in mourning. A sign of mourning outside the Chesapeake Police Department, a touching tribute honoring a beloved life lost. It was just yesterday when Officer Timothy Schock joined his fellow officers for routine dive training in the waters of Oak Grove Lake Park, training that ended in tragedy.
We never expect something like this, just a training exercise in what seems to be calm conditions, but anything can happen.
Ben Nippert of Fat Frog's Bike and Fitness in Chesapeake, good friends with Schock. He remembers getting the call around noon yesterday.
I was just devastated, speechless.
Nippert still coming to grips with the fact his friend Tim is gone.
A little bit makes you angry.
Officer Schock, an avid bike rider and member of the Fat Frogs team.
He's been on the race team ever since we've been open, and just a great guy to ride with. He never didn't complain. He always did, his share of the work.
Now, the Chesapeake Police Department doing its share of the work, trying to figure out what caused their friend and colleague to die in these waters that appeared smooth as glass Tuesday. In a statement, Chief Kelvin Wright says he requested assistance from the Virginia State Police in the investigation of the circumstances surrounding Officer Schock's death. Their expertise in the area of underwater search and rescue will prove valuable to this effort, and we greatly appreciate their willingness to assist. Friends also anxious to know what went wrong, trying to find peace any way they can.
He may be gone physically, but he's here, trust me.
And Nippert says he's working on organizing a memorial bike ride to raise money for Officer Schock's teenage son. He hopes to hold that ride in January, and of course, as soon as we get all the details hammered out, we'll be sure to pass them along to you. Katie Collette, 10 on your side.
Chesapeake Police scheduled a candlelight vigil for Officer Schock at 7 o'clock tomorrow night at St. Stephen Martyr Catholic Church on South Battlefield Boulevard. Hampton police are investigating a deadly crash. It happened around 5:30 this morning on Magruder Boulevard at Hampton Road Center Parkway. Investigators say the driver of a truck was making a turn and hit a car driven by 22-year-old William Bradley Hicks of Yorktown. He died at the scene. Police have not released any information about the other driver. Investigators are asking anyone who saw this accident to give them a call. Portsmouth police now say this accident we told you about in breaking news last night at 11 was not deadly. Investigators say a pickup truck hit a man walking in the street at around 9 p.m. on Turnpike Road near Frederick Boulevard. It happened in a poorly lit area. Rescue crews took him to the hospital. Last night, officers were told he died, but today, investigators learned the victim is alive. No word on his name or condition.
Williamsburg police identified a man killed, one of 3 shots Sunday. 23-year-old Dante Howard of Yorktown died yesterday. Investigators say Tyshawn Thomas shot him and 2 others on York Street. He's facing murder and maiming charges now. Police have not been able to find Thomas. If you can help, call the crime line. Investigators ruled a fire at a Norfolk hotel suspicious. Calls about the fire at the Ramada Limited on North Military Highway started coming in at around 6 a.m. The story was breaking this morning. A viewer sent this photo to reportit@wavy.com. You can see flames shooting from one of the rooms there. That's what firefighters encountered when they arrived. Crews put out the fire before it spread to any other rooms.
We do know that this room was not occupied, and so that obviously raises a concern.
No one was hurt.
Now we're going to look live at Super Doppler 10 radar. Unless you have been somewhere in a cave, you know that it's been raining all day.
Big question, when's it going to let up? 10 on your side, Chief Meteorologist Don Slater is in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center with details. Don, folks are running around trying to get that shopping done.
Well, it's going to let up. That's the big answer here. In fact, you can see signs of it letting up already. You can see some of the action on off to the west of our area. I'll be able to show you what's going on. Super Doppler 10 live. Again, to the west of Emporia, we're getting a little bit of a let up right on down into North Carolina as well, looking a little bit more ragged. But again, again, we are still seeing widespread light rain into the area. That'll tend to taper off during the evening hours. A little different view. We've got a pop of heavier, more moderate rain moving into the Franklin area. No lightning and thunder out of any of this, and widespread rain right now across the eastern shore and parts of extreme eastern North Carolina. Now, as far as rainfall amounts into the region, I want to show you how much we've had. Generally, around 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 an inch into the area. Farther to the west, a little bit over 1/2 an inch toward the Emporia area. And right now, again, just cloudy, soggy through the area, but it is going to let up during the evening hours. Still lots of changes coming up into the holiday weekend. We'll tell you all about that with our forecast in just a few minutes.
A Navy first today at the USS Oak Hill Homecoming at Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek Fort Story in Virginia Beach. When the amphibious dock ship returned from an 80-day deployment to Central America, 2 women shared the coveted first kiss. The Navy tradition caught up with the repeal of the ban on gays serving openly in the military. You hear those people cheering there. Both women are in the Navy. You'll hear from them tonight on WAVY News 10 at 6.
Another homecoming this morning at Fort Eustis. 200 soldiers returned from Iraq, and 10 on your sides, Nick Marone was there.
My baby is coming home.
How do people measure time? Is it months on the calendar?
I count down the days, I count down the minutes, I count down the seconds.
No, I didn't count down the days until about last week.
Or maybe it's measured in life's events.
Birthdays, just like big moments in his, like the first day of school he missed.
But for the family and friends of the 53rd Transportation Battalion and the 89th Transportation Company,
I miss my daughter.
Their time has finally arrived. For this. It has been a long 9 months for these 200 soldiers. And now, after a successful deployment in Iraq, the wait is over.
We're proud to welcome you home and reunite you with your families 4 days before Christmas.
Wow.
Feels a lot longer, I can tell you that. Every day seemed to go by very slow.
Much too slow for Dale Fullwood.
All right, all right.
And now that he can see his daughter, Sergeant Larita Fullwood, face to face, he has something to get him moving.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you see him?
Give him a kiss?
Back in each other's arms.
I tell ya.
The only thing they can think about now.
This is my baby. This is my baby.
Is the time they can spend
Give me a kiss.
together again. At Fort Eustis, Nick Marone.
My baby is home.
10 on your side.
My baby is home. Well said. Well, during their 8- and 9-month deployments, the Fort Eustis soldiers helped move equipment and supplies in Iraq. And this was the last Army unit in Baghdad. Planes carrying the 82nd Airborne Paratroopers touched down at Pope Army Airfield in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, late last night. The 380 soldiers deployed 7 months ago.
A young life cut tragically short.
He was a nice kid. He was a bright kid, smart kid. It's just what he was, you know.
Tonight we're learning more about a teenage boy who drowned in Smithfield. That story new at 5:30.
And 4 months ago, Hurricane Irene devastated some areas of the Outer Banks, and 10 on your side wanted to know how the recovery's going. So we sent 10 on your side's Andy Fox. You're going to see what he found.
And a delivery don't. It's the video that went viral. A FedEx driver tossed someone's computer monitor. Hear how the shipping giant is responding to this.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Ribas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Wow. A couple in Detroit jumped from the second story of their burning home before firefighters got there. You're looking at home video. It shows the real thing escaping the flames. You see both people jump. The man received minor injuries. The woman's injuries are more serious. The cause of this fire is under investigation. Well, FedEx says the video camera is a good teacher of what not to do. You may have seen this security video from Southern California. It's all over the internet. It shows the driver throwing a computer monitor over the gate there it is at the delivery address. FedEx says the situation has been resolved to the customer's satisfaction and that the driver will be disciplined. FedEx says it is using the video to remind employees that every single package is the most important one.
Consider they're all fragile, right?
Yes.
The FAA has rewritten the rules to make sure pilots are more rested before flying. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood laid out new regulations today that basically give commercial pilots longer breaks between flights. From now on, commercial pilots will get a minimum 10-hour rest period. They'll be limited in the number of flights they fly daily and weekly. The pilot has to speak up if they don't feel up to flying.
If a pilot does feel too fatigued to fly, this new rule gives them the ability to stand up and say so. In fact, it's now that pilot's responsibility to inform his or her carrier.
The rules take effect in 2 years and are the first to address pilot fatigue in 25 years. Those new rules were revived in part by the 2009 crash of a regional airliner near Buffalo that killed all 50 crew members and passengers. An investigation revealed both pilots were flying while exhausted.
Well, more kids are ending up in the ER with symptoms that look like the flu, but that's not it.
The source is something you find in many common household products, the warning and the dangers. Coming up.
They've told their children not to want, that we need to focus on needs right now.
This is Karen and Craig focusing on needs. 4 months after the hurricane, a lot of families here on the Outer Banks still not in their homes. These fine folks trying to help them. I'll have that story coming up.
Hi, how you doing? It's Chief Petty Officer Glenn Bednarz, currently serving at HQ ISAF at Kabul, Afghanistan. I want to send a happy holiday greeting to my wife Laura, my 2 sons Tyler and Timothy from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and happy 20th anniversary, Laura. Love you guys.
Hey, 20 years, cool.
It's been 4 months since Hurricane Irene battered the Outer Banks.
And tonight's On Your Side return to the Outer Banks to report on volunteer efforts to help storm victims. Andy Fox went to Manteo and found the disaster recovery center that helps victims that may be falling through the cracks.
Hurricane Irene victim James Midget has lived in a motel 4 months. Today, he has a new couch, new to him.
Pretty well blessed. What things I got, things I'm getting, things I didn't have before.
So many have come to the Disaster Recovery Center in Manteo. The volunteers here can't give us numbers.
In here is where we keep all of our furniture and the supplies that are coming in.
Craig Parker's a volunteer too, in a warehouse of new beginnings for people who have lost everything old.
There must be 400 or 500 of the comforters in here. We have pallets of water in here. And we have these health kits. These are the same kits that everybody was sending down to Haiti a while back.
Everything's here but the kitchen sink, and that could be coming along soon. Stacy Mann is the oldest in 5 generations still living in his family. Mann's daughter is over there finding him some furniture he needs. He lost a lot 4 months ago.
I had 28 inches of water in my house, and I lost all my tools, about 4,000, 5,000 worth of tools.
All right, you got it.
Recovery Center volunteer and organizer Karen Rogers does everything. Today she's loading furniture. She's seen a lot of sad stories, especially ones involving children with no home.
It's a hard thing for me to think about ever having to do, but they understand what these other kids are going through.
Mom's volunteering is rubbing off on Rogers' 2 daughters and a friend we found singing in the back.
You better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
The girls often come with Mom, volunteering too.
Why do you like being here?
Because I get to help a lot of people get stuff here that have lost everything.
So what do they need down here at the Disaster Recovery Center in Manteo? They need beds, they need insulation, and they need volunteers. Volunteers, volunteers, volunteers. In Manteo, Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
And as Andy reported, the Disaster Recovery Center is in desperate need of volunteers.
If you'd like to help those still suffering from Hurricane Irene, email them at disasterresponse101@gmail.com or call them 252-475-3525. We will have this number repeated later in the newscast.
Now, in high definition, your Super Dapper 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Light rain is continuing throughout the area right now. I want to show you what's going on Super Dapper 10 Live, and there is that rain. We are seeing the beginnings, though, of the end, and it's moving through about the Franklin area and Suffolk, western sections of Suffolk, where we are seeing a little bit of a spot of heavier rain. It'll take a while longer for the light rain to come to an end across eastern North Carolina, but it will indeed end overnight, and we could still see a stray shower a little bit later on, but the bulk of this steady rain is coming to an end here within the next couple of hours. You can see again these spots of heavier rain toward the Windsor area right now into western sections of Suffolk. Franklin, just light rain. You have seen some steadier rain move on through, a little bit of heavy rain every now and then, and some of those yellow colors right on into here. Toward the ocean front, we've got some rain, bit of a break into parts of Portsmouth and Norfolk, but it's going to start raining again any minute with this light rainfall. Some rain over Hampton, but not as much over the rest of the peninsula. And the eastern shore, you're seeing it move on off, except for into Northampton County, southern Northampton County, where we are seeing some scattered rain there, and certainly along the Outer Banks, some rain is continuing. And we just got an update on some of the rainfall amounts here electronically. I want to show you what's going on with this. Well, we have seen anywhere between 1/1500ths of an inch into eastern North Carolina, all the way on up to about 1/2 an inch in this stripe, right on through Hampton and Newport News into Isle of Wight County and on westward through Southampton County toward the Emporia area as well. And again, this is coming to an end or tapering off considerably here in the next couple of hours. So the steady rain is going to be ending soon. How about beyond that? Well, here's a look at what's going on. A wide view of our future track computer model. Midnight tonight, this patch of rain that we've got into the area right now is going to be offshore. We could still see a stray shower or two overnight, especially first thing tomorrow morning. And then Friday morning, another good slug of rain. And then I think we're pretty well done with it for a little while through most of the rest of the weekend. However, Sunday, Christmas Day, we could see some afternoon rain again into the area. Now, here's what's going on, a little more localized basis. We move on in for a closer view, show you what's going on. Again, here's that rainfall. Not all that much rain upstream. The heaviest rain is again going to be moving on offshore, Outer Banks even by 2 o'clock in the morning. Slight chance of rain thereafter as this front drops in, becomes stationary, and then lives northward again during the day for tomorrow. There's where it is at noon, and by the end of the day, the warmer air is starting to move back in, but so is the rain tomorrow night and into Friday morning at 7 o'clock, 15-25 mile-an-hour winds, and then the temperature is going to drop on down from there. There's where we are at the noon hour on Friday, and by the end of the day, light northerly wind, and again, that rainfall is about done for by that time. Now, right now, we've got temperatures into the mid-60s. We'll actually hold pretty steady into the upper 50s overnight. We'll see 68 for a high temperature tomorrow. Really, that rain tomorrow is tomorrow night into Friday morning. We'll see 61 on Friday and dropping throughout the day. Then just staying cool for the weekend. Saturday, partly cloudy. Sunday, Christmas Day, some rain in the afternoon.
We're on your side helping you keep your money. Criminals are targeting you using a well-known consumer group's name. We're going to tell you what to watch out for.
And new at 5:30, how 2 local police departments teamed up to end a day-long crime spree. Poison Control says the number of lithium-button battery ingestions have skyrocketed over the past 25 years. They've been linked to more than a dozen deaths. Once the battery gets lodged in a child's esophagus, it's a matter of hours till it creates an electrical current and burns through tissue. Problem is, parents don't usually see their child swallow the battery, and the symptoms are similar to something else.
Children are either asymptomatic or they'll have nonspecific symptoms such as a cough, a fever, they're more irritable, symptoms that are consistent with a common viral illness we see in children.
Right now, the Consumer Product Safety Commission is taking a close look at the button batteries to see if there's anything it can do to protect children from the dangers.
We're on your side against those trying to rip you off. Here's a scam using emails claiming to come from the Better Business Bureau. It even bears the group's torch logo. You may have gotten one in your inbox. An attachment contains phishing malware that steals your financial information. The emails have poor grammar and an incorrect BBB email address. The subject line says, "Complaint from your customers." That'll get your attention. Don't open it or click on any links. The Better Business Bureau says delete it from the inbox and the trash and then run antivirus software.
NASA says it spotted something new beyond our solar system. Why astronomers are so excited about the discovery.
A wounded warrior, now a suspected killer. Tonight at 5:30, why this soldier's family says his time on the battlefield could be to blame.
Mid-flight. Good. All right, let's get outside. It's definitely got a level. All right, come on.
You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I couldn't type on them though.
Hello, check, check, check.
Thank you.
What in the world?
Can you see me? I can hear you, but can you hear me? Okay. Check, 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 check. In McNamara, mic check. Check 1, 2. Check, 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 check.
Something out of this world and then some. NASA astronomers say the Kepler Space Telescope spotted twin planets orbiting a star beyond our solar system. These are computer-generated images of Kepler 20e and Kepler 20f. The planets are too hot to harbor life, and one of the planets appears to be Earth-like.
It means that we've made another step closer to finding the holy grail of all this astronomical research that we do, and that is to find a planet that's the size of the Earth in the right location around its star so that it could possibly have liquid water and therefore, of course, you know the next line, possibly have some form of life. So that's the big step here.
Earlier this month, NASA scientists announced the discovery of Kepler 22b, which is thought to be the first planet that may sustain life. Besides us, of course. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.